The tech campus is not a workplace. It is a total environment, a deliberately constructed reality designed to make the outside world feel less real than the inside one. In 2018, anthropologist Carolyn published a study of Silicon Valley campus design in the journal Anthropology Now, documenting what she called reference point elimination, the systematic removal of environmental cues that would allow workers to maintain a stable cognitive anchor to the world outside the campus. Her finding: the most sophisticated campus designs do not simply offer amenities. They replace the external environment so completely that workers begin to experience the campus's norms, values, and reality frame as the default reality, not a workplace context, but the context against which everything else is measured. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which architectural and behavioral design principles were used to achieve this effect, which historical institutional systems developed the same total environment logic before the tech campus existed, and why the company that controls your reference points controls something more fundamental than your productivity. It controls your perception of what is normal, what is possible, and what exists. The campus boundary is not a security perimeter, it is an epistemological one. Consider what Google's Mountain View campus provides. 3 meals a day, prepared by professional chefs, at no cost. On-site medical care, dental care, vision care, and mental health services. Laundry and dry cleaning. Haircuts, car washes. On-site gyms, swimming pools, and sports courts. Shuttle buses that eliminate the commute experience. Nap pods, nursing rooms, a bowling alley, a climbing wall, an on-site farmer's market. The standard framing of this infrastructure is that it increases employee productivity by eliminating friction, the time and cognitive load associated with routine life maintenance tasks. This framing is accurate. It is also incomplete. The more precise framing is this: every service the campus provides is a service the employee no longer needs to obtain from the external environment. Every errand eliminated is an interaction with the outside world eliminated. Every external reference point removed is one fewer anchor the employee has to a reality that does not originate inside the campus. The campus does not just save time, it replaces the world. The institutional logic of total environment design was not invented by Silicon Valley. It was documented, refined, and operationalized by institutional systems that understood its behavioral consequences long before the tech industry existed. The Jesuit residential college system, developed in the 16th century, was the first large-scale implementation of total environment design as a deliberate behavioral technology in Western institutional history. Jesuit pedagogical theory, documented in the Ratio Studiorum, the Society of Jesus's foundational educational text, published in 1599, specified that the formation of the complete person required complete environmental control. Students were housed, fed, educated, and spiritually directed within a single enclosed campus. External contact was limited and regulated. The daily schedule was total. Every hour of the student's time was accounted for within the institutional environment. The Ratio Studiorum's rationale for this design was explicit. Partial environments produce partial formation. A person whose values, habits, and cognitive frameworks are formed in an environment that competes with external reference points will never fully internalize the institution's norms. Total formation requires total environment. This is not spiritual language translated into secular terms. It is institutional design logic that the Jesuit system documented with precision, and that every subsequent total environment institution, the military academy, the boarding school, the psychiatric hospital, the corporate campus, has reproduced with varying degrees of explicitness about its purpose. The 20th century institutional precedent most directly ancestral to the tech campus is the company town. Between 1880 and 1930, American industrial companies built hundreds of towns in which the company owned the housing, the stores, the schools, the churches, and in many cases, the currency company scrip that could only be spent at company-owned establishments. The company town did not emerge from benevolence. It emerged from the recognition documented in the correspondence of company executives, that workers whose entire material environment was controlled by the company were workers whose reference points had been entirely captured. A worker who lived in company housing, bought food at the company store, attended the company church, and sent their children to the company school had no external environment from which to generate a comparative frame. The company's wages, conditions, and norms were not evaluated against external alternatives, they were evaluated against each other. In the absence of external reference points, the company's reality became the only reality. Pullman, Illinois. The model company town built by George Pullman in the 1880s was explicitly designed on these principles. Pullman's documented correspondence describes the town as a total environment intended to produce what he called a class of workmen who should have high self-respect defined, in context, as workers whose self-concept was entirely constructed within the company's value system. The Pullman strike of 1894 documented the system's failure mode. Total environment control produces total dependency, and total dependency produces catastrophic fragility when the environment fails to deliver on its implicit promise of comprehensive care. The tech campus learned from Pullman's failure. The contemporary total environment is voluntary, aesthetically sophisticated, and delivered with the language of employee well-being. The structural logic is identical. Here is where the architectural analysis produces a precise diagnostic instrument. The tech campus eliminates external reference points through 5 specific design mechanisms. Each mechanism targets a different channel through which the external world would otherwise maintain cognitive presence. Wait, look at the structure again. The first mechanism is temporal isolation. The campus's provision of all daily services eliminates the time-structured interaction with the external world that would otherwise punctuate the workday. The commute, the lunch errand, the after-work appointment, these are not merely friction. They are temporal anchors to a reality outside the campus. Their elimination removes the daily rhythm of ray contact with the external world. The campus day becomes the only day. The second mechanism is social enclosure. When the campus provides social infrastructure, the gym, the cafeteria, the on-site events, the employees' primary social interactions occur within the institutional environment. The social proof mechanism operates within a closed system. The norms, beliefs, and reality frame of the campus community become the social reference point for evaluating everything, including the institution itself. The institution's norms cannot be evaluated against an external social consensus, because the external social consensus has been replaced by the campus social consensus. That is not a design choice. It is a social proof installation architecture. The third mechanism is aesthetic totalizing. The visual and spatial language of the campus is designed to be internally consistent and externally distinctive. The specific architecture, materials, signage, and spatial organization of the campus create an aesthetic environment that is recognizably different from the outside world and recognizably unified within itself. The aesthetic totality communicates that the campus is a complete world, not a subset of a larger one. Workers who spend the majority of their waking hours inside a visually total environment begin to experience the campus's aesthetic as the default aesthetic and the outside worlds as the deviation. The fourth mechanism is ideological saturation. The campus's physical environment carries the company's mission, values, and reality frame in every material choice: the inspirational language on the walls, the product displays, the cultural artifacts, the named meeting rooms, the visual programming of common areas. The ideological saturation operates through the illusory truth effect. Constant ambient exposure to the institution's framing produces the experience of that framing as self-evident truth. The fifth mechanism is dependency construction. The more services the campus provides, the more the employee's daily life depends on remaining inside the institutional environment. The dependency is not merely economic, it is infrastructural. An employee who has outsourced their meals, healthcare, transportation, and social life to the campus is an employee whose exit from the campus would require rebuilding an entire life infrastructure from scratch. The dependency is the anchor. The campus has become the reference point because leaving it has become genuinely disorienting. The pattern does not stop there. The remote work transformation that followed 2020 produced an unexpected finding that several tech companies documented in internal research. Fully remote workers showed measurably higher rates of what companies called cultural drift, a gradual divergence of the remote workers' values, priorities, and reality frame from the companies. The external reference points that remote work restored: the home environment, the local community, the non-work social infrastructure were producing workers who evaluated the company's norms against an external frame rather than accepting them as the default reality. The return to office mandates that followed were framed as collaboration and productivity initiatives. The behavioral research suggests the actual driver was reference point recapture. If this investigation is worth continuing, signal it. The algorithm reads that as a vote for independent analysis. Here is the applicable lens. The total environment operates on you most effectively when you have no external reference points from which to evaluate it. The diagnostic question is not whether your workplace provides comprehensive services. It is whether those services have replaced your engagement with the external world rather than supplementing it. Ask, when did you last spend a full workday interacting substantially with environments, people, and institutions that are not connected to your primary workplace? Not a vacation, a normal workday in which your external reference points were active. If the answer is difficult to recall, the temporal isolation mechanism is operating. If your primary social relationships are with colleagues, the social enclosure mechanism is operating. If the outside world feels less real, less sophisticated, or less correct than your workplace environment, the aesthetic totalizing mechanism has done its work. The counter-architecture is not resignation. It is deliberate ray-contact with external reference points, the maintenance of social relationships, environments, and information sources that are structurally independent of the institutional environment. The Jesuit educators who designed the original total environment understood that the partial environment was the threat. The counter-architecture is the partial environment, maintained by intention. The next layer of this investigation goes deeper into how the total environment logic is now being applied to digital platform design, how platforms create closed information environments that eliminate external reference points in the same way the physical campus does, and which specific design mechanisms they use to achieve epistemological enclosure without physical walls. Subscribe to follow the analysis. The question is not whether tech campuses were designed to eliminate external reference points. The architectural documentation, the anthropological research, and the return to office behavioral data all confirm that they were. The question is which reference points you still have, and how many of them originate inside the institution you are trying to evaluate.